But
I see what you call it
who
didn't give me no motion.
who's that?
What's the mic? What's the mic? Five fine.
Oh, five fine. Oh,
Feet.
oh, trust me, they will.
I added them last week.
They will because we're gonna be. I'm gonna reach out to them and get them to be a sponsor of the Indie Unplugged, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Indie Unplugged. But no, like you were saying, it's a reflective on the what is this thing I'm looking at? Teleprompter, right? So it
Yeah,
has a reflective. Yeah, yeah. So there's a guy by the name of Caleb Pike who pretty much came up with this whole idea. I'm a nerd, right? So I watch like a lot of camera videos, and so he came up with the thing about putting a monitor. Our brother, my guy, our brother, Mr. Gregory Smith.
Gregory Smith
Going
himself.
on, brother? How are you today? Thanks for tapping in with us, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, yeah. So he came up with this whole idea of putting this monitor on a teleprompter to reflect back. So when you do like Zoom calls, you can actually be looking at the people at the camera versus looking down
Yeah.
at the monitor. So it was a pretty genius idea. And so once he put it out in the world, everybody started doing it. But it's a very genius concept that, and he's kind of like a guy who goes around and kind of does all of these different um, camera builds and workstation builds and all that stuff. So that's like his thing. So
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Shout out to you, brother. Greatly appreciate you, man.
Uh,
Hope y'all week been well. My week has been good. Been super busy. Glad to see y'all both. My man Tye Huntley, Brian Onrea. You know what I'm saying? Once again, welcome, guys. Appreciate you. And man, it's been a lot going on this week.
Yo, somebody need to turn the heat back on in Georgia.
Yeah,
It's cold.
bro, seriously, it was like 20. I woke up yesterday. It was 27 degrees. I was like, nah, I'm not in the same.
Yeah.
Well, what? I'm in Georgia. I'm supposed to be somewhere where it's a little warmer, but nah, it was actually really cold. Oh, my brother and my actual real brother is on. My blood. What's up, bro? Miss you, man. I need to come up to VA to see you. I like telling y'all location where you at. Need to come up to your here's your address on no, but yeah, that's the baby brother right there. Dutta, man, I appreciate you, bro. I love you, man. And
Shout out to the fam.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you're tapping in. But a lot's been going on. Too many things have been going on. And let's jump into it, brothers. Let's get into because there's a lot of stuff. Um, y'all hear the news about Bandcamp?
I like that.
I like that. So of course, let me.
I mean, you know I do.
I like.
So
I like. B. I'm interested in seeing B's perspective and take on what Bandcamp just announced today. So as always, let me give you the breakdown, the context, right? So Bandcamp draws the line why banning AI music is a cultural statement. So in a rare and decisive move, Bandcamp has officially banned AI generated music from its platform. Unlike streaming services that are still grappling with how to label, license, and monetize AI content, Bandcamp has taken a very clear stance. Its marketplace is meant to support human creators, not algorithmically generated works. The decision positions Bandcamp as one of the first major music platforms to openly reject AI music, not because of novelty, but because of concerns about authorship, copyright, ambiguity, and the erosion of artist value. This move lands at a critical moment as AI generated tracks, of course, we know flood DSPs, and creators question whether platforms are protecting artists or simply protecting scale. But I read that today. I was like, ooh, Bandcamp says no. Well, literally, it's no AI music, whether it's wholly generated or any part of AI in the music. If they have the ability to detect it, you can report it, they can detect it, but they're not going to allow any AI generated music on their platform, period. Wow. What y'all take? Ty, I know you like it, but Brian, I'm absolutely interested in your perspective.
I want to know what Brian got to say.
I'm just I'm just curious as to where the line is, because you said if any part of it is AI, and I feel like it may get a little tricky because what about like production? You know, how
Mm-hmm.
many producers are going to use maybe an AI generated melody or AI generated piano part? You know, is it just vocals, or even what about a rapper who may get, some background vocal? I don't know. It just seems like it's very honorable and noble
Mm-hmm.
in principle. It seems like, but I wonder in the practicality of things 5, 10 years from now is going to be sustainable, because I feel like AI is going to be a part of almost everybody's music
Mm.
moving forward. Because just from a workflow perspective, if you can get somebody to play saxophone, it might be harder. Or if you can just get an AI saxophone, but the rest of it is you. So it just begs the question, where's the line? So we'll have to see. I don't know.
Mm.
I think
Because
even that in itself that's a good point, because I think that has become the new normal. We have started to blur the line of what is AI, right? Because we've been using auto tune, or we've been using loops where the melodies already existed. These are things that we have been doing. We've been using Lander for decades, and once we got to the point where there was a software that generated complete works and people had a problem with that, it seems like everybody who supported that then tried to double down and spin the block and say, well, all of this other stuff is AI too.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the line is blurred as to B's point, what's AI and what's not. Like somebody in a comment thread um tried to they had created, I don't know if you guys saw this. They created a double XL magazine front page. You guys see that?
Nah.
They created their own double XL. On the cover of this double XL, they had Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z,
I saw,
Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, and the Fugees.
I saw that.
Right?
A real one?
You saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody was going crazy. They was like, "Oh man, like Double XL knocked it out the park with that one. That was the best class ever."
They
The
were never.
gag is that wasn't a real cover, right?
Mm.
And so the line is blurred. I said, it was created by AI, and then the person who actually made it came back and said, "I made this in Photoshop." So that's not AI.
Well, it
That was what their reply to me.
it depends on what you do in Photoshop, because Photoshop actually has an AI feature built into it where you can remove backgrounds, add images, change the color of things that normally isn't in there, right? So, as an example, let's say I'm in this room, I can put a window behind me, and a window doesn't exist, right? So, AI can generate that window for me. So, is that the use of AI in Photoshop? Yeah. So, people can say they created something in Photoshop, and he probably did create it in Photoshop, but I absolutely know Photoshop has AI generation built into it where you can create anything and replace anything that you want to put in your Photoshop.
Yeah, the key was he said the Photoshop was in Chat GPT. You see what I'm saying? So lines are blurred. So to B's point,
Right.
like my first thought was, no AI artist, obviously, and then like you said, to the point of from like the Sonic serial number for a track, they would be able to tell whether or not it's one that is originally generated or the copyright is owned by Suno. The same way Sound Exchange can attach royalties to a song that's played on the radio. So that was my initial thought. But if we really go and get granular and be like, oh well, if the song got auto tune on it, it's AI. I think I yeah, that's a whole different topic in itself.
Yeah, and so to B's point, right? So I brought it up. It says music and audio that is generated wholly or in substantial part by AI is not permitted on the platform. Now, I don't know what measurement they use to.
Substantial. What's substantial?
That's what I was going to say. What?
Right. Because
How,
that's
how much?
subjective.
It had to be 70% AI, right? I didn't see an actual. Even when I looked as far as the press release they put out on Reddit, if they indicated what that percentage is, that's the same thing for what we talked about last time with Suno, right? What is substantial? What is the measurement to indicate how much a person can use within their song? Because and it's only related to music, so which means I can create my graphics using AI and load it up as my album artwork, and that should be okay on Bandcamp, right? Because it's not music
Yeah.
or audio. So I can create everything else that's around the song from an AI generated perspective, but not the music itself, right? That has to be, once again, you got to think about what the measurement is for substantial, because what substantial may be to one person may be different to somebody.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what their measurement
But
of.
then too, Bandcamp has always been very artist centric,
Mhm.
right? The platform itself is built on that. So if the vocals are not being sang by an artist, if I think that's probably more relevant where you have entire so for example, there's several producers that have decided to put out their own artists, right? Timberland, so to speak. And so they have used AI to create the artists, AI to create the music. Now the songs. They're actually producing, allegedly, the tracks,
Mhm.
but the artist is not actually a real person, and the songs were prompt generated. I would say that that's substantial grounds for it to not be on the Bandcamp platform, because who are you truly becoming a fan of,
Mhm.
right? And Bandcamp is about having that ability to even cross market into live performances and fan experiences, uh, things that require a human. So
Will we
that was
have
my
this?
thought. But
Quick question though. Will we have this? And I'm not saying it's a right or wrong answer to this, but will we have the same energy if the roles were reversed? If you're an artist who's hungry and you can't find a producer, you can't produce, and you just made up a producer or made up your own tracks in AI. Like you didn't do any programming, you just prompted out a beat, a hot beat, a dope beat, and you sang a rap over it with your authentic voice. I just, would you think it would be the same level of outrage, or is that okay because it's a real person, but the person didn't make the beat? Is that a crime to producers? I wonder how that will be taken, because eventually
absolutely.
I would assume it's gonna I would assume it's gonna happen at some point.
Mhm.
At some point, somebody say, you know what? Let me just. I'm tired of trying to get all these beats. And pay. I don't want to pay for no beats. So let me go ahead and just
Exactly.
get somebody to make me a Timberland type of beat, or make me a Murder Beats type of beat, or whoever type of beat. I'm curious. What do
Um,
y'all think?
Yeah, I would assume it would be the same. What you say?
I would assume it'd be the same. I think it'll be interesting because we haven't really heard from the perspective of how people feel about artists who are using generated music. And as you know, like I'm a rapper, just as you explained, B, like I think the outcry will still be the same. I think the position will still be the same. Because I know many producers, and I'm sure y'all do, that they're like, if you use any AI in your music, you ain't a real producer. They like
Well, not only that, there's plenty of producers that can't stand the fact that people get their beats off of YouTube.
off of YouTube. I mean, even just that alone.
So it's not. It really happened to producers first. I mean, we weren't considering it AI, but the whole phenomenon of loops and YouTube beats really put a strain on what producers were able to do. And, it kind of got to the point where even for artists, if you wanted to do real music, you still were reaching out to producers because, I mean, these YouTube beats, you find out it's 15 songs on that same beat. Or the person, once they found out that you released it and you leased it from them, now they want to charge you, a true producer's fee.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we ran into the era that just passed, which was producers started locking in with one artist. Artists started locking in with one producer to do entire projects so that they could have a cohesive sound and so that you could get rid of all of those issues with splits and all of that. And be on the cutting edge of, some new artist or some new sound. And now that has gone by the wayside, and here we are in this artificial intelligence era. But
I think
to what he's talking about is we just came out of that where, for a second producers was winning.
For a second.
Because the YouTube thing had got crazy. And when people would decide to get off of that, think about it. I even I myself, the intellects, we produced 75-80% of Ashley King's project. That wasn't by coincidence. That was one producer locking in with one artist.
You know what? I got to stop for a sec. I'm gonna go back and really answer that. But I know it was mentioned before, right? And I love to give props to my guys, right? But I definitely got to give props to Tye Huntley, right? It ain't every day that you're nominated for NAACP Image Award. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like every day that you get nominated for NAACP Image Award. Not even just that. I think there was an Emmy in there somewhere too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the end of last year, nominated for 3 Emmys, won 2 for our contribution to the soundtrack for the short form documentary, The Ebony Canal.
Right.
It's an amazing film with a worthy cause, and it is still going strong across the world at this point because we've even done a film festival in Johannesburg. So shout out to Ime and the entire Ebony Canal team.
That's right. Yeah, I wanted to make sure you were talking about Ashley King. I was like, oh, let me throw that in there. I got to make sure.
Yeah. We have the song Thankful by Ashley King that actually closes out, wraps up and does the summation of the film. And it's an impactful moment in the film. It's a fantastic film, and Ashley's excited about it. Of course, the intellects are excited, and we've won at Essence. We've won 2 Emmys. We've won we won 3 Webbies, 6 Tellys. We just waiting on the Oscars to call us.
Hey, that's what's up, brother. That's what's up, man. That's major kudos. But yeah, B. So I didn't mean to interject. I interjected that.
Oh.
But I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
I think the outcry would still be the same. I mean, the producer community already got issues with producers. Oh, you use a loop? You ain't a real producer. You use a sample? You ain't a real producer. Oh, you did this? You ain't a real producer. You can't play chords? You ain't a real producer, right? Oh, you using drum breaks instead of doing your drums? Oh, you got to draw your drums in FL? Oh, you got to use Ghost? You're not a real producer. Right? We already got issues from a producer perspective. So now if you got a rapper who's using Suno or Udio to make their music and rapping on it, that's a whole nother, you taking food, out of my mouth. You taking money out of my pocket because now you're using AI generated music. Even though you rapping, I mean, it's the same thing with your, well, I can't say it's the same thing because she didn't sing. She just wrote the lyrics. I was going to say it's almost the same thing with that Janaya Monet person, except the lady's not actually singing. So.
You know what? We're not really even talking about that to that point, to B's point. Nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about the fact that, she created this artist and put these songs out, but all of that music is through Suno. There's no producers.
None of it. All the music is,
Yeah.
and that's what people have.
Yeah.
They have the issue with that. That's just like what well, Timbaland said he made the beat, to the new track that he put out with Tata,
Okay.
right?
Sure, Timberland. I don't believe nothing he say at this point.
But Timbaland came back and was like, "No, I produced the beat." But it makes you question: did he really produce the beat? Is this really a Suno generated beat? We don't really know anymore, because of all of the perception around AI generated music. But what I can tell you is that Bandcamp is like, it's not going to be on here. And if we think it's on here, we are going to remove it. If there's a suspicion, that's what they said. We reserve the right to remove any music on suspicion of being AI generated. And if you think a song is AI generated in any capacity, you can report it. You can flag it. You can use their reporting tool to flag the content for review by their team. They're like, no,
I'm telling you what's gonna happen. Watch. It's gonna happen. It's probably gonna take a couple years, but watch. Just like I think it was you I was talking to about the resumes, where we started seeing duplicity in resumes. There's gonna be 2 hit songs that come out, and them ones gonna have identical verses or identical tracks. And it's because if you're prompting the same software that's pulling from the same learning model database, you can't tell me no 2 people haven't gotten the same song yet.
Not yet. I don't know.
We just haven't heard them. We won't know unless they release them.
Right. That's going to be the crazy thing, right? So the thing with this is I started putting these little closing statements, right? Is that Bandcamp's decision sends a very powerful signal. Not all platforms value music the same way. So for independent artists, this reinforces the importance of choosing platforms that align with your creative and ethical values, not just their reach. So if you like AI generated music, there are DSPs and platforms that will allow you to do so. Bandcamp just not going to be one.
Not one of them, yeah.
Yeah. So as AI blurs the line between ownership and authorship, Bandcamp is doubling down on a model where music is tied to people and not prompts. This protects long-term artist equity, catalog value, and fan trust. In an era where algorithms are replacing effort, Bandcamp is betting that human creativity is still the product worth paying for.
You know who probably we need to be on the watch for to do this next will be YouTube. Because I know YouTube pays out a compensation for like minutes viewed. And I'm sure the majority of these, I don't know if you guys ever listen to like the lo-fi, these playlists that just play for hours and hours, and you never heard any of that music, or you never heard of any of the artists what's to say that music's not all AI generated?
Exactly. Well, man, I'm gonna tell you what. I was talking to somebody. I ain't gonna say who the person is, but I was talking to somebody and was showing them when I first heard of Suno or Udio, and that person was like, "You know what I could do? I can create one of those YouTube channels with nothing but AI generated music and let it play for like 24 hours and just reap money, and get monetized." And it's like, but YouTube has already started to take a position with AI slop, right? So if they start to see that, there's AI slop, which is like just those AI generated videos with no real context, no real meaning, no real depth, and it's just, I'll say, it's just trash videos of AI. They are getting rid of those. They don't even want those on their platform. So they've been cracking down on AI slop.
I saw that about the actual video, yeah.
But because of the music side, it'd be very interesting to see where YouTube is going to land. Because, you can, once you sign up with, y'all know this, with your DSP, they can release it on YouTube Music. And so how is YouTube Music going to then implement any type of AI policy in regards to whether that music can be on their platform or not? It's crazy because we talked last time about Suno's policy change regarding ownership, right? And so there was an individual, once I posted that clip, an individual was like, well, the U.S. copyright is very clear on what ownership is and who actually has ownership of the music that is generated from a Suno perspective, right? So, but the thing is with even that, on the same vein, it has to be sub. I went to read it, right? Because once somebody says something and it's like, let me find out what you really saying is what is really true. It has to be substantial. It has to be substantial. Like you can't just, like the guy was saying, well, if you have to tell it the key and what chord to use. No, it ain't just the key and chord. You got to tell it what key to use, how to use it, what chord to use, what structure to use the chord in, and it has to be significantly changed. It cannot just be, and of course, you can't just say use the C minor chord, C major chord, and make it 4 bars, and then it spits something out, and it's like, oh, you won't own that. You won't own that. But it has to be something that you kind of like what we used to do with samples back in the day. You had to really chop up the sample and make it almost sometimes unrecognizable, and then it was something you could call your own after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting. These AI conversations are going to continue to happen. I would love to do a virtual AI summit. We should do that, and get some AI people in here, from the publisher side, artist side, and kind of talk about what, how everybody sees that perspective. I think that'll be a great conversation for us to have. But we can talk about in that same vein. Tye, I know you wanted to talk about the lawsuit that happened over in Germany. You want to shed some light?
Yeah, in the UK, I feel like they got it right.
Yeah. You want me to get some? I can get some context to it.
Yeah. Give us the rundown.
Yeah. So, in a landmark European decision, the Munich regional court ruled in favor of GEMA, which is the rights organization over in Germany. In this case against OpenAI, marking one of the first major court decisions directly addressing copyright and AI training. I think it's going to start happening a lot more globally. The court found that is using copyrighted works to train AI systems without proper authorization can constitute copyright infringement under European laws. The ruling directly challenges the idea that copywritten music, lyrics, or compositions can be freely scraped and used as training data without permission or compensation. While this case was decided in Germany, its implications are absolutely global, especially as AI companies operate across borders and artist catalogs are exploited at scale. I mean, it's kind of like what was happening with Suno and Udio, as far as the lawsuits that were coming against them in regards to how they were training their models and really real music to train their models. And so this is against OpenAI, which is the makers of ChatGPT.
Right.
So, and they're saying that you can actually go into ChatGPT and literally almost recreate the lyrics from several songs. I think it was 7 songs, and literally just recreate the lyrics. Now, I'm not sure what you would do with those lyrics, right? I mean, aren't those same lyrics? I guess those lyrics could be regenerated in a new song capacity, but what's the difference between that and looking and going up to Genius or lyrics.com, typing in the lyrics on Google, the lyrics to this particular song, and it gives you the full lyrics right there? Because it's not being trained on their model.
Yeah, on those sites, it's literally just showing you the lyrics. It's not actually using that information. Like, for example, let's say B puts out a rap song and it then takes the structure or the cadence of how he wrote the song and uses that to train the model. Somebody else puts out a song and they basically using they sound like B. And so the question then becomes, who owns the copyright? Technically, some of that belong to B.
Because of the cadence, because of the
word structure. If the word structure and cadence, I'm saying then it becomes extremely undeniable. But even the sentence structure in itself, if it's based off of anything that's remote, that's like anytime somebody does one of these songs and we say to ourselves, man, that sounded good. Right? I say, yeah, it sound good. Who it sound like? Because that's exactly what they use to ensure that it sound good.
That's right.
That's the whole premise of a learning model. I think that people don't understand. And I see like producers and songwriters putting their songs into UDO and into Suno, not understanding that they've clicked the agree button, which means now whatever you made is helping teach the models for when somebody else has a prompt.
That's right.
So every song you've ever heard come out of one of these things, and I'm assuming they probably, let's just assume they only using like the hottest 100 songs in every genre, right? Maybe they not granularly down to a guy who released a song that's only got 20 streams. But for any genre, once you give it the prompt, it's pulling from probably historically whatever was the greatest 30 R&B songs that sounded like a Brandy song, and that's how it's deriving it. So all the 30 people who assisted in the lyric writing or the melody structure or the cadence of those songs just became co-writers. But they're not giving credit for that. That's why I say they got it right over there to say no. We're not doing that.
Yeah, because
you can't teach the model and then not credit the people who taught the model.
Yeah, because they use the same thing. It says the court found that simpler user prompts led ChatGPT to reproduce substantial parts of the original lyrics almost verbatim.
Yep.
Almost verbatim. And so how did ChatGPT know what the lyrics were? It had to be trained, or that information had to be inputted into their system in order for it to generate those lyrics. Right. So they have a thing where it says it's memorization, right? So you put in the content, it stays within the system, and then of course, as you stated, once you put in your prompts, it's recalling that information, right? So they were talking about they observed that the works were producible through very simple prompts, such as how is the text of whatever this song title? What is the refrain of that song title, right? And the court considered the statutory notion of fixation under EU law to be satisfied, because now you're saying, I want you to, and that's the thing about Uno and Studio,
UDO and Suno.
Studio, right? So Suno and Udio is that it won't let you put lyrics in there that are actually real lyrics from someplace. It'll tell you you can't use the lyrics, nor can we create music in the style of, like, I want to J. Cole, which y'all know J. Cole, my favorite rapper. The fall off is coming, so I had a shameless plug.
Watch out.
The fall off is
coming. Shameless plug.
I didn't want to anyway. Yeah, I can get into it. I didn't want to hear the first song, but I did. Yo, that first song was dope. But anyway, yeah. So now it's like you're putting this information into the system, and it has to recall it somehow. It can't. It's not just making this up out of thin air. So where's it pulling from? Because that's the thing with LLMs, is pulling from something.
Yes.
Once information is being ingested into it, it's pulling from something, right? Yes. I think that's the thing that people have to understand and it's doing it from the mass data and information that we do every single day, right? Yes. Every single day. And that's why you have the option within like ChatGPT or Notebook LM or whatever you're using to say, don't train on my information, because that's it. Because Notebook LM, you can actually, well, ChatGPT too, you can upload stuff to it, your resume, right? Documents, short stories, films. Now, you think that's the thing with music. Think about if you're putting your documents in there and how that, whether it's IP, and if your IP, I wouldn't put IP in there, right? That'd be crazy to put IP inside
People doing it.
of ChatGPT. You can't do that. That's gonna be
People
crazy.
doing it. They probably doing it to help write books and write scripts, and we're gonna end up with some books and some scripts that's identical.
That's identical. But I see this happening on a global scale, though. I think Germany is just going to be the first to really take a stance on it, as they've already done, and other rights organizations from across the globe are going to start doing the same thing.
Hope so.
I can definitely see that happening. So, but it's very interesting though, like just news across the world about what's happening, right? So, this ruling is once again, I got my closing notes. Unless B, you got something you want to say in regards to that? You think they did the right thing? You think that it's going to trickle down to other countries? And I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting.
I think that a lot remains to be seen. I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll keep saying it. I think the AI is not going nowhere, and it's just a matter of figuring out what the rules are and adjusting. But I can almost promise you, 5 to 10 years from now, the conversation will be different.
Mm.
You know, it won't be as much outrage towards AI. It'll be more so of how we're dealing with it, how it's administered. And I think that the more we fight it, the more behind we're going to be. But we'll see, though. I don't really got any exact opinion on that particular case. I'm just waiting to see how it all falls out. Waiting to see how it all, trickles. But I do think, though, to Ty's point, if you contributed to something, and if I contributed to something, and I know that somebody else is having some kind of even the smallest derivative of it that's producing success, I want a piece, right? Like, that's just common sense. But I think that we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. We'll see.
Yeah, you're entitled to it, right? I mean, that's just the same thing if somebody used a piece of a song that you made, you got some ownership in that. You gotta get some publishing, or you gotta get some.
That's the whole premise of Suno.
Right.
It's using a piece of songs we all made.
It
But
do.
listen, though, listen. But though, how many things? And this is a bigger conversation. How many things do we participate in that we've agreed to terms and conditions that we don't realize is exploiting our stuff? How
Man,
much of that?
that's
So
it. Oh,
so
uh,
so when it comes time to getting your credit, well, brother, sister, you already signed off on it already. You ain't even know it.
too late, and you ain't
You
read.
already signed off. You already signed off on it. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, you know,
Oh,
whatever. Well, what if Instagram came out with a record label tomorrow and we didn't sign something when we made our account and we said they could use our music? And what if they had a label and we didn't already agree to it? Now, of course, there gonna be lawsuits saying that we didn't know it was,
mhm.
and then that'll play out. So I'm not saying that like justice can't really happen, but let's just see, man. I don't know, man. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here, but I do know AI not going nowhere, so we'll see.
Yeah, I would agree that AI is not going anywhere for sure, 100% for sure. It's just, and B, you make an excellent point, man, because I think that's something we always tell people. How how many times a day are you looking at something and agreeing to some type of terms and conditions, right? Or, I mean, it's just, and I know this ain't the same thing, but when you go to a website and be like, do you accept these cookies, right? And it's like, oh yeah,
Right.
you don't know what's in them cookies, right? They
I
put
don't know what's in them cookies,
on your
but
computer.
I know I'm trying to get on that website.
And I'm trying to get that website. I mean, think about, I mean, B, it's larger than that, man, because as producers, even people producing, and we've talked about it before, every software, every DAW has terms of service. Splice
Right.
has it, TrackLib has it, everybody has it. So what are you agreeing to if you don't really read the terms and conditions? I think half of the things that we agree to, if we actually read them, we probably wouldn't even use it. Or you could use what? You could do what? I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know that's what you were saying you were going to do with that information, or that image that I uploaded, or that. It's crazy. It's crazy because they could put anything in there. And not only can they put anything in there, they can change it at any moment and at any time.
Yeah. Send you a notice saying, hey, our terms and conditions have changed. Wait, what?
And they're gonna wait right till you get to something you want to see and stick it up there so you can just click it yes real quick. Right to the best part. Boom. Agree real quick. Okay, you want to see that? Boom. Okay, great.
Yeah, boom, you
Here
agree.
you go.
You be like, check, click. Okay, get out of here. And they were like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I went and got new glasses or I needed a new prescription and I wanted to get the prescription put in my Meta glasses. They have you sign this paper that basically says we'll put the glasses into your frame, but if we tear your frame up, that's your problem, not ours. I told the lady, I said, we really live in a take it or leave it society now.
Yep.
Take it or leave it. You gonna click yes on them cookies or not?
You're right.
Because you can click no, but then you can also get up out of here because you ain't getting on this website.
That's right. Hey, you want to use this? You got to agree to that.
You can click no on Spotify if you want to. You're gonna be listening to yourself humming in the car.
That's right.
Because you won't be listening to no Spotify.
And look, that's not even one of the topics on here because we didn't even get into the fact that Spotify has just raised their prices.
I heard about that. I hadn't seen it yet, but I heard that's coming.
Again. It's a crazy world out there. People trying to look for every dollar that they can scrape by and they can get by. Spotify raising prices, Netflix raising prices. Everybody raising prices, man.
I don't understand why I know we way off topic, but I don't understand why Spotify thinks that this is a good time to raise their price. And the reason I say that is because, okay, they raised the price before when they started to incorporate the podcast, right? Well, now Netflix is doing podcasts, right? So now you got more competition in the market and you go up on your price.
But we don't know how much Netflix is going to raise their price to once that podcast really start taking off on their platform.
That's true, but Netflix has what Spotify doesn't. Two things. One, a built-in customer base already that's worldwide and of a different sort. They do have that, but they're not there for the same type of content. And then the other is they're only pulling from what they already know are the most viable in the category. Things that they know people are the podcast that they took a grouping of podcasts from iHeart.
Yeah, to put to put on Netflix. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix. I mean, that's the thing with their podcast platform is not every podcast is going to be on there, but on Spotify, you can get every podcast that exists.
Yeah, you can also get every song that exists, and that's why a lot of songs got 0 plays. So what is it? That ain't even really saying nothing. I think I sent you a video earlier where the guy does the stat breakdown of the fact that there's like over 10 million songs that have somewhere between 0 and 10 plays.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that also comes from a marketing perspective too. You can't just build and you think people will come. You got to promote that.
That's why I say in Netflix case, it's already built. And they're pulling from a viable catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Not just picking up shows to see what stick. These are shows they already know that they've vetted with iHeart to be beneficial to the platform.
Roku should do that because you know how many Roku TVs exist in the world. Yeah, Roku, y'all we need to get us on there and give us some of that bread, Roku. But no, that's I'm interested in seeing how all of that plays out. So it's going to be the next couple of years, man. It's going to be very important to watch how AI shapes the music industry because it will absolutely 100% shape what happens in this industry. On a global scale, we're about to see how this all goes down. So, you hear about Michael Jackson Jr.? Michael Jackson Jr.
Michael Jackson Jr. is crazy. You trying to start a fight?
No, I'm always.
You trying to have some people angry in the comments?
I do. But anyway, because now we're starting to see an influx. I mean, we've seen them, but of all of the different documentaries coming out, right? So, and they came out with a Chris Brown one, it's called Chris Brown, A History of Violence. I was like, Dad,
What?
that's how y'all named. That's how
I
y'all.
hadn't seen that.
Oh man, that's how y'all name this. So yes, it is called Chris Brown, A History of Violence documentary. And then I had to sit back and think. I was like, does Chris Brown have a history of violence? I don't know, but here's what happened. A judge had dismissed a defamation lawsuit involving Chris Brown, reinforcing a hard truth about modern fame. Winning in court doesn't always mean winning in public perception. The case centered on claims that false or damaging statements harm Chris Brown's reputation, but the dismissal highlights how difficult it is, especially for public figures, to legally challenge narratives once they're in the media ecosystem. In an era of viral clips, headlines, and algorithmic-driven outrage, the law often lags behind cultural judgment. This case isn't just about one artist. We've seen it many, many, many times. It's about how reputation, media, amplification, and legal remedies collide in today's music industry. So what happened? So Chris Brown and his legal team went to say, hey, y'all got to drop this case. This case is not good for Chris Brown's image. A lot of the information in here is not true. It's defamatory. It's you gotta. And the judge was like, nope, I don't think so. He's like, because you're not producing. And that's the thing, right? The judge told them, you have produced no evidence to counter the allegation that you are wanting to provide or insinuate to dismiss this case. So prove to us what information, statements, documents, eyewitness account do you have that can support your claims, Chris Brown and your legal team, for us to drop this documentary that Warner Brothers Discovery and Ample Entertainment have put together. I was like, oh. I mean, it's kind of
I'm surprised that his legal team would even go to plead for for it to be thrown out or taken down without having supporting documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first question becomes, on what grounds?
On what grounds are you trying to do this? But the question is,
He pulling an R. Kelly. Which camera is on me? This camera on me? I didn't do this.
Y'all
killing me.
Y'all killing me, man.
That ain't enough.
It ain't enough.
Robert,
didn't work for Aura.
Robert.
What? Y'all killing me, man. But yeah, that's what they said. He said his legal team publicly condemned the film and accused the companies behind of it damaging Chris's reputation. The judge was like, whatever you provided, right? So they said Chris Brown has a history. Well, this is what it says, right? Because I got the article up here. There's a clip from an interview with a individual named Scotch. I'm gonna butcher the name, Scotchy Cole, who said the singer has a predisposition for punching women in the face.
Damn.
I was like, wow.
Well, you know he did it at least one time, at least once.
We know he did it once. He hasn't denied it. He said, yes, I absolutely did it. But she says he has a predisposition. Or maybe it's, I don't know if it's she. It just says culture writer. So I'm not sure. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, if she says it in singular fashion, she can prove it. In plural fashion, I don't know that she even has proof for her statement.
That's what so how do you know this individual, Chris Brown, has a predisposition of punching women in the
they want you to watch the documentary. So, because me, I'm curious. I'm like, well, shoot. Tell me more. Like, what happened? What did he do?
who else he punched
Like,
besides Rihanna?
what's the tea? What's the tea? Like, what's up? Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy because it seems like this is the era for the documentary. Like the
Yes.
Diddy documentary. Well, we had our Kelly doc years ago that kind of set it off.
Yeah.
The Diddy documentary definitely set it off. And it's like, well, Chris Brown, okay, well, you know, what else? Because the thing about celebrities, we're finding out a lot of stuff is hidden. A lot of stuff is hidden coming to light. So even the the most objective person is going to at least want to listen. Like, really? Because we know he did it one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it possible that he's been getting away with it? I don't know. It's entertainment. Let me find out. Let me watch it. You know. So I don't know, man. But I think any objective person, like I'll watch it, but I also will have no problem getting on a platform like this or any platform saying, listen, I watched it. It's some BS because of X, Y, Z. I don't believe this. I don't believe that. You know, but I'm curious. I mean, let me see, because I do know Chris Brown did go through a period where he did seem like he was angry. I think he tore up a Good Morning, one of those little morning show sets a
Mm.
few years ago. He tore it up because he was mad about something. I don't know. I remember that specifically when that happened.
Mhm.
So I don't know. You know,
I mean, does he have a history? And that's it. I think that's the
I don't know. I mean,
history
I,
of
I, I would say no, but history of anger, yeah. But history of punching women, I ain't heard of that. But why? Why do you think that? Is it because somebody said it with no evidence? Because listen, I'm a big skeptic. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you right now. All right, I don't care. This may seem like a hot take or whatever. I don't know, but I think that Bill Cosby got railroaded. You know what I'm saying? I think that like after like the 10th woman, I'm like, okay, yeah, they definitely piling on now. It was like 50 women or something like that. They
Mhm.
said Bill Cosby.
That was a
So I'm
lot.
like, okay. I'm like, all right, like it's overkill. It's obvious y'all like piling them up. So I think it's very possible to get people to lie and make up stuff. I think it's very possible,
Mm.
but I think as an objective listener, I have the ability to kind of decide for myself how I feel about it. So for me, yeah, I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? I want to. I want to see. I have no problem calling it how I see it either way.
Right.
And I think that unfortunately, Chris Brown put himself in a position where he gonna always be accused, and people gonna always have opinions. But I believe right is right, wrong is wrong. If he didn't do anything, then this should be something he could brush off. I think unlike Diddy, I don't think Diddy can really brush off the video of him beating up Cassie. I don't think he can brush off the incident in New York. I think that he can't brush off the shooting in a nightclub with Shine and J Lo and them there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's the history of something, right? So with Chris Brown, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
so they said in 2014, of course, he pleaded guilty to punching a man outside a Washington D.C. hotel. In
A
2016,
man.
yeah, a man.
He
Well,
said women, right?
the man,
These are things that
there's
he
man.
got. He got a propensity for punching women on. That's what this article said, right?
Yeah, they said that at his core, Chris Brown's history of violence is well documented in the form of a legal paper trail. So I guess in 2009 he had to deal the issue with Rihanna. 2014 he punched a man outside of the Washington D.C. hotel.
Where
2016,
you missing 2011, where that's when he threw the chair at the Good Morning America. That was 2011.
the 20, yeah, they ain't
Okay.
put that in here.
He
But
busted out a window.
right.
I knew it was something there. I knew it was something he did there. Good morning, America.
In 2016, a model claimed the singer assaulted her at a Las Vegas casino, but police said there wasn't enough evidence to press charges. The following year, 2017, Chris Brown was issued a court order to stay away from his ex-girlfriend. We know what happened.
That was Carucci, right?
Yeah, he's doing stuff. He's making threats. So she said that, oh, he's threatening my life. Remember just recently, last year. The guy over in the producer over in
UK, right?
the UK said
Yeah,
Chris Brown
the
hit him
DJ, I think it was.
bottle, and he started for no reason. Just Chris Brown looked at him and was like, "Wow, I'm gonna beat this guy," with the beat that he gave me. I guess I don't know. Um, and then there's other things that I think we've seen, and of course I'm not trying to put it out there, but I think we've seen video clips of Chris Brown backstage fighting this particular rapper or this particular issue. We know he had issues with what's your boy name? Quavo. Was it Quavo?
Yeah, Quavo.
Yeah, Quavo, right? He had issues with
They had
Quavo.
the rap battle. They had the rap battle.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they actually fought or whatever the case behind the scenes, but this judge is saying that Chris Brown has a paper trail of issues
Yeah,
that
they say he was in a brawl in 2012 with Drake's entourage.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. With
yeah,
the bottle, somebody threw a
yeah,
bottle, right?
yeah. I
And
remember.
hit didn't it hit like Tony Parker and he like sued somebody? He sued the club or something like that. Yeah, he threw a
I
bottle.
remember that.
It hit Tony Parker and Tony Parker sued or something like that.
Yeah,
Forgot about
and
that.
then they said him and Frank Ocean fought over a parking spot in 2013.
Parking
They
spot.
had a beef. There was the beef
Yeah,
between I think the
at
whole odd
West
future.
at a studio.
Yeah.
It
So
says Brown pushed or punched the singer,
he has a history of
but
punch.
Frank Ocean did not press charges.
Does he have a
I
He
history?
don't
said
know,
he
man.
was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Let me see. Let me get the year. 2014.
Yeah. I always say somebody got something. I'm just
I
saying.
don't know.
I don't know. But
I gotta decide for myself. Show me the evidence. Let me see. Let me look at it.
show me the evidence, right? But the thing is man, is that even for independents, man, I mean, everything takes place on social media. We live in a very clip heavy, everybody got a camera, something happened, everybody pulling out their phone, and everything is documented. Every single thing is documented. And so as independents, like your one incident can I know we talked about this before, ruin your legacy. It can send you down a path that people see you in a different light capacity that you probably never intended, because everything is documented. Back in the day, we didn't know half of the stuff that people did. But in today's
Right.
society, everybody has a camera. There's a camera everywhere. And people have access to artists like they've never had access to artists before. Um, it's just very imperative that we try our best to stay and I'm gonna say that, but it's not like walking on eggshells, right? You got to live your life to the fullest of how you live your life. But it is being aware that there are things that are happening, and in that quick moment, you got the ability to make a decision to say, "How do I handle this situation?" Right? How do I approach this situation? Um, and as independents, we and just humans, we have that ability to be able to do that. It's a very fragile world we live in, and people will make very quick judgments about people. So independence, you got to be very careful about the image you're putting out there and what you're portraying to the public, and don't have a predisposition punch
For,
people.
for independent artists, though, you really at a worse situation because Chris Brown has what Zomba Entertainment or whatever big conglomerate. He got a lot of
Yeah.
money on the line, a lot of people that'll fight for him. So as an independent, you don't have that kind of leverage. You
Hmm.
accuse of something, you done, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? On the flip side, as an independent, you heavily depend on your supporters anyway. Your support, like direct to consumer, is really big in the independent space. And if somebody really mess with you, they mess with you. So that's, I guess, one good point. But one benefit you have is being independent. But I think from a macro perspective, overall, you don't have the same leeway as a Chris Brown or somebody to get into to do these things because you don't got no machine behind you, you don't got the big budgets behind you, and you'll get wiped out before you even got put on the map.
Mm, yeah. But
I mean, you'll be a imagine fighting some kind of case without the best lawyers in the game that got a relationship with the judge or a relationship with with people on the other side and can work out plea deals, and and record labels who know people, and you know be on the outside looking in. So on the outside looking in, you don't have the same kind of leverage. You don't have the same type of leash or second, third, fourth chance ability as a Chris Brown or a major artist would.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you get known as a woman beater, it's a wrap for you.
it's a wrap.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, that's literally, it was almost a wrap for Chris Brown, like almost a wrap, for that guy. But he, once again, he has a machine behind him that can, what's the right word I want to look for? Kind of soften the perception of him as an individual. We ain't got that. Like,
Right.
you find yourself on Fox 5 if you want to, and then all of a sudden they go like, oh, that's, yeah, it's,
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Look at R. Kelly, man. Look at R. Kelly. R. Kelly been peed on that teenager years ago, and I'm gonna say we as a community, we still stepped in the name of love. We still went to the chocolate factory. We still did all this stuff
hey.
after the video even came out. It wasn't until he was on kind of the downside of his fame,
Mhm.
where he was kind of like still R. Kelly, but wasn't really producing at that high level when he got caught up. Can't do nothing for me now, right now. So
Look, we love
go
you.
ahead,
We love you.
take him.
Hi.
Take the black man and throw him in jail. So you know, and Chris Brown is up here. That's why I think that this whole documentary it ain't gonna really hurt him that much. Even Diddy was kind of on the downside of his popularity. Then the video with Cassie came out, so it's easy to follow. Chris Brown, he on top right now, so I think he'll be fine no matter what. But if you independent, if you're not big, or if you're on the downside of your fame,
Well, I mean,
they built you up.
you
I
can
mean, I ain't trying to be Mr. Conspiracy, but
look. You can
they
watch.
build you up.
History.
They build and when you're not useful no more. When you ain't useful no more, all that stuff you did. Look at Dame Dash. Look at Dame Dash, man. He's the laughing stock. But 15 years ago, 20 years ago,
He was the man.
so when you're on the downside, all your demons, everything that it's gonna come back and get you. The minute you're not really worth as much anymore. I'm sounding like a big conspiracy guy, but I'm telling you, it's true.
I mean, we've seen.
In my opinion. But so if you're in the independent, you know,
We've seen.
trying to work your way up, just keep your nose clean, because you can get away with it when you at a high level, but when you stop producing and you ain't as hot, can't get away with it no more.
And all the stuff come out. But you can go watch the documentary because it came out in 2024.
Oh, it did. It's already out. See, that's my point. See, it's been out. We ain't even know about it.
It's been out
It's
since.
2026 now.
It's on HBO Max, Apple TV. Yeah, it's Hulu. It's all out. It's been out there for a year, at least a year.
Yeah. So like, he had the Breezy Bowl last year.
Yeah, right. When you hear
2025.
and Breezy Bowl was like, from what I heard, was amazing. I ain't
An event.
heard nothing about
Epic.
this Chris Brown, A History of Violence. So yeah, just be careful, independents out there. So, which I didn't know they had, which I just found out they had, was a South by Southwest Sydney. Right, and I didn't know they had one in Australia, but they did. It was it was 3 years ago when they implemented it, and now it's no more. Right, and so here's what happened. But I want to talk about this on a larger context. So, after just 3 years, South by Southwest Sydney has been officially canceled, raising serious questions about the future of large-scale music conferences and their real value to artists. Once seen as a global launchpad for discovery, networking, and deal-making, festivals like South by Southwest are struggling to replicate their influence outside of their original ecosystems. Rising costs, diluted impact, and shifting industry priorities are forcing a reevaluation of whether these events are still serving the artists or primarily just serving institutions. So, when's the last time y'all been to a music conference? Like a South by Southwest or ASCAP or BMI? or A3C.
Yeah,
Or
probably September, August, September, October.
of last year.
Yeah, whether it was something for Music Biz, whether it was MMF, whether it was AIMP and MMF. Um, and then South by Southwest was huge this year. You could do virtual attendance because they had so many different summits within the conference. That's the only thing about that. That's like taking I don't know, that's out of its its core audience's purview. So to I don't know how or why or what made them decide that Australia was a dope spot to do South by Southwest, but don't we all know South by Southwest to be in Texas?
Yeah, Austin. Yeah,
So
they
what
bring
made them think that was about to do well in
it.
Australia?
It did huge. It did too well in Australia. They had. Hold on, let me get to this thing. They had more than 345,000 attendants last year at their
Okay.
South by
Well, if
South
that's the case, then what's the reason why they're not having it again?
funding.
Yeah, that sounds like a misappropriation of funds. If they
Yeah.
had that many people last year, where'd the money go?
Yeah, the government pulled it. So look, it says it's a bittersweet to be saying goodbye while the momentum is so high. We're celebrating the success this past year, one that saw total attendance of more than 345,000, representing a 15 year-over-year increase, and cemented a 3-year culmination economic impact, 276 million in Australian dollars, which equals 184 million US dollars.
Somebody lying.
What's happening?
Somebody lying. Somebody done threw the checkbook in the back seat and took off, never to be seen again.
They completely canceled it. After 3 years, they said, "It's we're not doing this again." And so
How does it?
I don't. But my main
But to your point, though, conferences are alive and well.
well, one is government funded, so that's the thing. Maybe misappropriation of funds, as you stated. I'm not sure,
Or
but
reallocation of funds.
it could have been because it's a government for them, a government funded conference. Unlike South by Southwest, I don't think it's funded by the Texas state government, right? Um, and so they've been
No.
doing this, what, 1997, 1993, 1987. So they've been doing South by Southwest since 1987. And it's been
And it
going
has
ever since.
grown. And
Now,
now it's grown to the point now that it's not just music anymore like it used to be. I mean, there's
media,
fintech and everything.
that's right. You know, I've never been to a South by Southwest. I've been to ASCAP and all that other stuff, A3C, but you find small pockets of events taking place, whether it's AIMP, MMF. You find small pockets.
A2M,
Yeah. You find small,
Biz, this.
yeah, you find small, but I'm talking about like huge, but thousands upon thousands of people are coming. Is it been like you see now, especially with the rise in cost of travel, hotel, etc., the way the economy is today, people aren't really going to events. That's why a lot of these event organizers are starting to do virtual. And so you can pay your little 99 or 199 ticket, stay at home, and just sit at your computer and watch. But it's not the same though, right? That's for me. I'm an extrovert. I like connecting with people and being in rooms with people. To me, A3C was never the same after it was purchased. A3C completely changed. I used to love going into A3C where it was engaging, where it felt like you could reach out and just have conversations and touch the actual panelists who were coming and have connections with those individuals. You couldn't do that with A3C a couple of years ago when they had it at America's Mart downtown. Future came in, Dapper Dan came in, and they quickly escorted those individuals out. Security was around everybody, and you just couldn't have that same level of connection. Um, but my question for this whole thing is, are they still a viable thing to go to? Like, I don't know what South by Southwest did last year. I don't know how many people they had. I've never been to one. So
Yeah, and the only reason I know that is because I saw it on CNBC. Because they literally had Apple was there, Meta was there. Like, it wasn't just, we used to think of it as being just like the smaller subsidiary labels or the major labels, and some the larger regional acts and DJ pools from around the nation, and it's become a lot bigger than that. But even that in itself may be due to how the musical footprint has gotten smaller. They have found ways to continue to grow it as a festival by adding other dimensions to it, by bringing in adjacencies to music. But we currently live in a time where statistically they say that we spend more money on experiences than we do on things. And these festivals, these conferences, these summits are an experience.
That's right.
So to your point, I would have to see some numbers saying that they have not been effective, because theoretically they should be the more effective thing than, I don't know, watching TV at this point, because you can binge watch a show or you can come back and watch a show whenever you get ready. There's no sense of urgency to do anything that is not an in-person experience.
That's true.
It'll be dope, not next week, but the week after, when we do our virtual show. I'll be in LA, so I'll give you on the boots on the ground, real time.
You going to the Grammys?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And there's events all week. Events start on Monday and go all the way to Sunday.
Look, because I'm a voting member. And I'm joking. Voting member.
No, I sure am.
That's right.
And I'm going to utilize it all week long.
I'm just a professional member. So, but yeah, that's and then we didn't even talk about that, right? We didn't even talk about the Grammy thing that's about to come up, and so that's gonna be crazy. But I just wanted to know, because I saw this happening with Sydney. It was being, no longer funded, and I was wondering if we're starting to see a decline in festivals, events as large as this, and what is the real value of going to these types of events? True, I think it is the experience. I think it is the connection, because I meet a lot of people when I go, and I don't really go for the information, because it's like I can go to A3C, I can go to ASCAP, and I go to BMI or the DIY Music Biz, and they're almost literally giving almost the same type of information.
Yes. Now
So
that is a
one
fact.
conference, and I'm gonna hear it at this conference. I'm gonna spend $1,000 to go to here, and then I'm gonna spend $1,000 to go here to hear the same thing. But the reason why I go is to meet the people. That's how I build my network and my connections, is by meeting the people. And so, but are we seeing a decline? I haven't been back to ASCAP music conference since pre-COVID, and they started, and it's not the same anymore. I don't even know if you can go. I don't even know if it's virtual anymore. Like, I know NAMM is happening.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Or I think NAMM is coming out next week.
Yeah.
I haven't been I do want to go. I'm going to NAMM next year. But are those if I go, I'm going to see the products, but I'm going for the people. So I'm just wondering, has there been a decrease in the effectiveness of events, since we're starting to see some decline in these events and or a repositioning from in person to virtual?
I don't know. I think it all depends on uh, the PR. You know, obviously these things wouldn't continue on if they weren't effective, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you see it South by Southwest, I just saw my boy Kato on the track post. He doing a what you call a showcase at South by Southwest. I didn't even know they're still doing it. So obviously they still doing it. So there's some type of market for it. But I do think the PR for these kind of things has kind of slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a day and age where I don't believe nothing. Like it's so much stuff going on out here. You don't know what's going on. It depends on what's on your algorithm, what you being fed. A lot of times, me and Brian talk about stuff, and I say he'll say stuff I never heard of. I mention stuff he never heard of because our algorithms
Yep.
are so it's like who knows what's really going on out here. But I do know that these things got to be effective because they keep having them. You know, all the way from the sneaker conventions. There's more sneaker conventions than ever. You know the auto shows. You know, it's all
CES
kind of
just happened last week. The technology conference, the
Oh,
one of the largest ones in the nation.
yeah.
it's all
So
kind of stuff is happening.
so in the spirit of AI, I just looked it up real quick, and it says that for 2025 there was a significant increase,
Huh?
new records in the number of people who attended conferences and festivals. It says setting new records despite some volatility in general ticket sales. The market is driven by high demand for live experiences.
Yeah,
So
People
it
tired of.
says with industry events and festivals reporting record-breaking turnouts, and it actually the first one it lists is NAM Music Fest, Raleigh Wide Open Music Festival, IMPF, the Global Music Summit.
Never
I
happened.
mean, uh, Sydney, they had some misappropriation of funds over there as to why they not doing South by Southwest. Because in the United States, think about it too, right? When we start talking about how many artists are putting out music and
Mm-hmm.
um, the independent community is larger than it's ever been in terms of releasing music and having the ability to navigate your own musical career. That's going to bring more of them out to these festivals and events to either get the knowledge or to promote their product.
Right.
You'll see them turning out in record numbers because now they have a product that's out to promote. They're not just going waving their CD saying, "Listen to my music." I'm available on all platforms, baby.
That's right. That's right. Now, I just wanted to know if because that's a huge thing, right? I mean, if I got 345,000 plus
Yeah,
on where now they're deciding to cancel the whole,
that's weird.
that's weird.
You opened up another can of worms. Somebody need to get investigated.
Right. Find out what's going on. Find out.
Yeah, we need to get the chief financial officer in a room with a heat lamp.
Right. But like, where these funds at?
Right, yeah.
What you doing over here? Why you can't?
Oh,
Exactly.
it's a nice car you got out there in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah. I see you. I see you out there. But yeah, I was just wondering. And so the last thing I saw, which I think is super dope. I think this is super dope. A lot of people probably, well, when I say people, I mean organizations probably don't. So in a landmark decision, a U.S. appeals court ruled that songwriters can use U.S. copyright termination rights to reclaim their works globally, not just within the United States. This ruling significantly expands the power of creators under U.S. copyright law and challenges the longstanding industry assumption that foreign territories were permanently locked up in early publishing deals. This decision strengthens artists' ability to regain control of their catalogs decades later, even when global rights were originally assigned to publishers or labels. At a time when catalog ownership is one of the most valuable assets in music, this ruling could reshape how publishing deals are written, valued, and challenged going forward. So if you put out a song in like 1968 You can go back and get your global rights now.
This is terrible. I was today years old. I guess I was today years old when I read this. This is terrible. So let me get this straight. We always got Isaac Hayes the third out here talking about go back and claim your rights when the songs hits the 30-year or the 35-year mark.
Yep, 35.
I was today years old when I discovered that. You mean that don't go for across the board? So all this time, people have only been reclaiming their rights in the United States when we know a lot of these songs were worldwide hits. That's insane.
That's crazy.
So the publishing companies, Warner or Sony or whoever, still been collecting the check from Japan and China.
Yes, sir.
Even when you reclaim your rights?
Yes, sir.
This is long overdue.
Yes, sir. So so under U.S. Copyright Act of 1976, the original authors of a song can take back their copyright from a publisher or whoever they assign the rights to, because you can assign it to your heirs and all those different things, right?
Yeah.
After a set period of time. For works written in 1978 or later, that term is 35 years. For terms written or for works written before 1978 is 56 years. Until now, the general understanding was that the U.S. termination rights applied only within the U.S. Consequently, any international rights remained with the publisher who originally acquired them. So your song, if it blew up in all the world, right, the universe,
Yeah.
and you only got it back for U.S. because that's what it was covering at that time,
Yeah.
all for them many years,
Yeah. Imagine if I wrote one of Michael Jackson's songs
it went back to the publishers.
and the 35 years pass and I get my money. Michael Jackson is the epitome of a worldwide
100%.
superstar.
100%.
You saying for the rest of the world, the publisher, Sony, still been clocking my bread?
Yes, sir.
We got a problem.
Still.
That's wild to me.
Yep.
It makes perfect sense that you would get all of it. So this is long overdue.
Long overdue. Long overdue.
Wow.
After 35 years, you can get your global rights.
That's what it should have always been.
And that's what the judge said. The judge said, yo, this some bullshit. This some crazy stuff that's happening out here. Y'all, now that's a misinterpretation. They should be able to get all their rights, not just U.S. termination rights. That goes back to them. So if I am Isaac Hayes III, and I have a father, Isaac Hayes, and he's making all these great music that's out here, Shaft and all that stuff, right? What's that song doing globally?
Right.
So when he's out here talking about, getting your rights back, and he gets those rights back, he's only getting the U.S. rights.
Insane.
And the publishers are making $1 gazillion off of global. I mean, we're one country.
That's right.
I'm saying one country. Imagine how many other countries are listening to.
Yeah, when you start thinking about certain artists and certain songs, you start thinking about the Rihannas and the Celine Dion's and the Michael Jacksons and the Adele's, songs that are hits worldwide. And if you're a writer or a producer with rights that revert, you either only got or only were entitled to get.
That's right. So you got whatever your rights were, and they got whatever those rights, 50%.
Right.
50%.
They're like, yeah, you can have them little U.S. rights.
U.S. rights.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want your U.S. rights? Go ahead. Go ahead. Your rights is this part of the pie. Them global is this part of the pie. So you go ahead. We give you that back because you don't, because you can't get the other rights back until now. You can now get back your global rights. And so, with that being said, you would think that everybody would be like, yeah, that's what's up. We can get all them rights back. No, not everybody ain't for that. Everybody don't like that. RIAA and NMPA urged the Fifth Circuit to overturn its decision.
NMPA represents most of the largest publishers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll overturn that, bro, because
they don't want that at all. That you know how much of their revenue that is?
that's what who came out, Warner Music Group and Reservoir came out and said that. They came out and said that it may adversely affect our business, cash flows, and financial condition.
They going out of business.
Bet you right. Because all those songs made before 1978 that can now go back and get all their rights. If we know with whatever that span of 35 years is. Or let me go back.
After 78, 35 years.
Right? So imagine at 78, you can now get them. Now it's global.
Yeah, that's why I said if we think about the largest artist for us, you're talking about Mariah Carey. She's got music that's 35 years old, right? Am I tripping? How old am I?
Nah, Mariah, I don't think
Mariah Carey came out in 96, something like that. Maybe 94.
Maybe look.
Not 96. 91, 92.
So look, you got songs
That's
like
496.
You got songs like the Bee Gees, Night Forever, Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, Earth, Wind and Fire, Serpentine Fire, Olivia Newton-John. I mean, they can all go back and get all they global rights, right? I mean,
but wait, because Isaac Hayes just put out a list the other day of more stuff that's more relatable to us in hip hop and R&B.
And look, I like these songs too. I like hip hop and R&B.
They cool.
But I definitely like September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I don't even know what song Serpentine is. Maybe I know it if I heard it. If you hum a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know that song.
I just sing along.
I will survive. I don't know the words to that, but that's glorious.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right? Yeah. I mean, but what hip hop?
Yeah, because 35 years ago.
What hip hop? 35 years old. Let's see. I don't know. I don't want to know artists who are older than 35. I want to know what songs. Jay-Z's older than 35. Nah, really? For real? Like, nah.
What?
Right. Are those 35 years? Yeah. Rockbox, Paul Revere, Express Yourself, Sucker MC, Straight Outta Compton, Fight the Power, Me, Myself, and I by De La Soul, Humpty Dance, OPP. You down with OPP? Yeah. Mama Said Not Out, The Message.
Dang, that's over 35 years old.
Came out in which one?
OPP.
Came out in 1991.
Yeah.
Do the calculations. Is that 35 years?
Yeah, so what year? Hold on.
Push. Guess what? Hold up. Guess what's on the list? Push It.
Salt and Pepper.
Push It is on the list.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, that's why the lawsuit was going on when it was.
So check this out, though. Check this out. In the article, man, y'all make sure y'all read these contracts. In the article, it said, I shouldn't laugh, but it shouldn't laugh, right? So let me. It's two paragraphs. It says, however, the companies talking about Warner and Reservoir, the companies emphasize a crucial distinction. Since the enactment of the Sound Recordings Act of 1971, which first accorded federal copyright protection for sound recordings in the U.S., virtually all of our agreements were with recording artists, provided that such recording artists rendered services under a work-for-hire relationship. Work-for-hire arrangements don't carry termination rights, effectively shielding the most sound recordings from recapture. The real exposure both companies acknowledge, which was Warner and, of course, Reservoir, lies with musical composition. A termination right exists under U.S. Copyright Act for U.S. rights in musical compositions that are not work for hire. So even though for Salt and Pepper, Push It may be 35 years old, they don't get that.
Right. The work for hire.
Herbie gets that.
Yeah.
Herbie gets that.
Yeah.
Story came out in 1988, right? So they all are eligible to go back and get all those global rights as of January 12th.
Yeah, so that Mariah Carey album came out in 1990, the Vision of Love album.
She can go back and get those global rights
from Sony, and I'm sure them worldwide rights is probably crazy for Sony because they don't play,
brother. So they can go back and get all those global rights right now. Wow. And there's more. Of course, there's more songs.
Oh yeah, I'm sure a ton.
Got the Wu-Tang in there, right? Wu-Tang can go back and get all
Wu-Tang in there. Yep.
Pete Rock and CL Smooth. They reminisce over you. All Cream is all in there. Mind Playing Tricks on Me by Ghetto Boys. Nas, New York State of Mind. I mean, you can go down the list. Whoever owns the Tupac catalog
at this
get
point.
global rights.
Is it still Suge or did Suge sell it?
I don't know. Tribe Called Quest can go back and get all of theirs. Pharcyde can go back and get all of theirs. Ice Cube, you can go back and get yours. Ice Cube, right? Now imagine. I think we're gonna if they're gonna come out and say it. Trust me, if they're paying attention, these artists are gonna go. I'm going back to get all my global rights as soon as like today. And they just go, hey, I'm terminating them global rights, and it has to revert back to me. So all those probably millions of dollars that's sitting out there that the publishers were getting.
That's why they objecting to that. That is when they say it's going to adversely affect their financial status, that is going to be true. Now, granted, it's probably only going to be about 25% of those people that are either A, alive, or B,
are the original
cognizant of the fact that they should, because you have to request it. It doesn't automatically come back to you.
That's right.
You have to request the termination. So not everybody's going to do that. They banking on that. And then some of them probably dead. So they don't have to worry about that. But for people like Wu-Tang and Mariah Carey and Nas, who are alive and well, that's a lot of money.
Even if they are dead, even if they deceased, who do they transfer those rights to? Those individuals now go back and get those rights terminations. That's right. Unless it somehow went to a publisher and the publisher has ownership of the rights and there's no other entity that exists that actually has ownership of those rights. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. So somebody's gonna try to appeal it. So I mean,
it'll be tied up in court for the next 5 years or so.
I mean, it was an appeals court that did this. So you're gonna go.
So it had already been appealed.
It had already been appealed. You're gonna appeal the appeals court? I can go. I guess.
Possible. Yeah.
Man. Independence, that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're independent and your song is blowing up, and 35 years later down the road, you got ownership and termination rights. Boom. Now
think about it, because if you only 20 years old, you still gonna need some bread when you 55.
Because you ain't be there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't be there. So if you got you 20 now, 35 years later, you what, 55?
55, you still gonna need some bread. You ain't even old enough to retire yet.
Exactly. That's your retirement right there. So
yeah.
You talk about investment, boom, there you go. That's like an investment plan, right? Instead of having like a Roth IRA.
Right. That's your 401k right there.
401k right there.
Make them right reversions.
But you better make some good music that's gonna go across the world.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And don't just end up in the US. So man, brother, that's all I got. Anything else y'all got? That's all I got. That's it, man.
What else going on?
Crazy stuff.
That's it.
It's
a lot coming up, like you said, especially with
let's put that
NAACP awards, the Grammys coming up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it is award season. The Golden Globes just passed.
Yeah.
So
we we coming with our top Grammy picks in the most important categories on the next episode.
I was gonna say we should do like shout outs to all the independents that actually got nominations.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that next week.
I know it ain't many, but that's all the more reason why they should be highlighted.
Yeah, we're gonna do that next week. That means we got to go research and find out.
Hey, would the clips be considered independent?
Nah, they signed with
I know
Rock
they're on
Nation,
Rock
right?
Nation, but Rock Nation's not a label, right?
eh,
Technically, they're a management company.
and is Rock Nation giving them money?
Hey, what's that Tony that Tony Ayo mean when he like looking at Vlad like
I mean, you can have a manager and the manager give you money. That
Then you
don't mean the manager is a label.
signed to your, yeah, but you ain't technically independent either, I guess.
True.
But
You ain't. Yeah, I agree with that.
especially if you got a machine like Rock Nation behind you and they giving you money
Right.
to go out there. Now you signed to Rock Nation in some way. So, but I'm thinking about like, and I know Tye, you know him, but I don't know. I think B know him too. I'm talking about like Matt B. You know what I'm saying? I was up. Well, I would say up where, but now he's over there. So, like to me,
Yeah, Matt B. A
Matt and
couple years ago, Avery Sunshine.
Sunshine. They're
Yeah,
truly independent. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Independence, like Rudy. You know what I mean? Like people.
Right. I think I know like for spoken word this year, Chris Redding,
Mhm.
he's independent, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He got nominated.
You know, I'm
So we gotta look it up and give everybody their flowers.
about to put a post out there. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. Put a post, and then we're gonna share that post all over social media for them to send in all of their shout outs for independence, and we're gonna put a list together and do it on the episode next week
Cool.
on Friday. So, and we got the celebration on Wednesday. So
Facts.
that's right. You bet you going. I'm gonna see you there. So
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
I'm coming in my Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis outfit, like I wore
Nice.
the year before. the year before. So, but man, brothers, it's been once again gems. Do I have a gem? I have a gem one.
Oh.
8-1 too. So we got the gems. We didn't drop y'all so many gems today, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate it. But we'll see y'all next week. So we out. Appreciate y'all, brothers. Y'all have a great
Peace
peace.
and love.
Peace. Peace.
much love?
Much love. Peace.